How's it going? Welcome to my private pump track stroke BMX track. So as you can see, I've got quite a bit of land with this old house that I bought about 8 years ago, and my goal was always to have some jumps or a pump track in the garden, and after about 3 incarnations it turned into this pump track stroke BMX track. I had a lot of help doing this. If you're going to build something similar yourself, or something smaller or bigger, just bear in mind it's a lot of work and a lot of maintenance after. I was lucky enough to have a really good crew that come and helped with it. Even doing it that way, it costs quite a lot of money, but especially now in these times, I'm pretty stoked that we've got this in the garden and it's something that we can ride. So today I'm going to do a bunch of tips on how to ride a pump track, mainly for beginners. All the skills that we're going to go through today translates into everyday mountain biking, whether you're out on the trail or you go to a BMX track, pump track, bike park. These basic skills are going to help you with your riding, so enjoy. So on our track we've got a start ramp. You can either get a couple of pedal strokes in on there, or you can just pump in. You're not going that much faster if you're pedaling. Then we've got a pretty big roller on the first straight, which then takes you into a kind of step up, step down feature. So on here I'll go through a couple of the different ways you can ride this. After this feature we've got another roller, and then the first corner splits into 2 berms. So we've got an inside berm where there's a little step up on the inside, or a bigger step up on the outside. And then the second straight, as you can see over here, it's got 2 lines that are joined together. So the inside line is a bit smaller, outside line's a bit longer on the jumps. And then the last 2 features, on the outside is a gap jump. On the inside you can either roll, pump, manual, whatever you want to do. That leads you into the third straight, where again we've got a smaller section on the left and a bigger section on the right, into a last left-hand berm, and then we've got a series of rollers on the last straight. So it's pretty simple track, but it's got quite a lot of features that can keep you entertained, and also good for practicing the different techniques. So we'll start off with the basics, which is just pumping around the track. Okay, so today I'm going to ride my jump bike, hardtail mountain bike, 26-inch wheels, on a pump track, BMX track. Obviously you can ride a BMX. One of these bikes is ideal, or if you've got a short travel trail bike, you can also ride that. It's just a bit harder for these kind of jumps to use. So anyway, first of all I'm going to demonstrate just the basic pumping down the first straight, and this is the technique that if you're a complete beginner that you want to learn first. And it's basically just using your bike and your body to generate speed over the jumps, to keep your momentum and to actually pick up speed. So that basic technique of pumping is basically you're just rolling through the jumps, but you're using your arms and your legs to basically suck up the jumps, so that if you just ride into a jump and don't do anything, the upslope of that jump is going to try and slow your momentum down. And then so what you're trying to do is you're trying to unweight the bike as you go up over the jump. As you go over the top of the obstacle, you bend your arms and legs, so you're kind of using the features of the ground, and you're trying to emulate that shape with your body. And then on the back side of the jump, you then extend your legs, push through on the pedals and push through on the handlebars to accelerate down the back side of the jump. And once you've got that technique dialed, you should actually generate speed on each jump that you tackle. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try and do a full lap of the track by just pumping. Obviously if I didn't do anything with my body to generate speed over the jumps, I would probably end up stopping halfway around the track. So let's have a go at pumping all the way around the track and see how we get on. Okay, so hopefully you saw from that demonstration that you pick up quite a bit more speed when you're able to manual. The reason for that being is your front wheel is missing the gap in between the jumps, so it's not slowing you down. So when you've learnt the basics of manualing and you've got comfortable doing that, then it's endless what you can do with manuals. You know, you can start to manual across bigger gaps, taller jumps, step ups, step downs, multiple jumps. You'll see some of the top BMXers and pump track riders, you know, they can manual through entire rhythm sections and round the whole BMX track. I'm nowhere near that good, but what we're going to do now is we're going to try and do what's called a double manual. So on the first straight of our track we've got a step up, step down. So what I'm going to try and do now is manual through those 3 jumps in one go. Now this is a much more difficult technique, so make sure that you've built up to this before you attempt that. But let's see if we can do that and see how we get on. Okay, so as you probably saw there, I was able to do some manuals through multiple jumps. On the first straight I managed to manual through the step up, step down. That's probably the quickest way of getting through that obstacle on our first straight, and then I managed to manual the last 4 rollers on the last straight. And that's the good thing with learning to manual. You know, you start off basic and then you can just keep progressing, and it's endless on how good you can get at manualing. Obviously the more you practice the better. So that's it. We've done pumping, basic pumping, and then we've done some fairly basic manualing. The next thing we're going to do now is do some basic jumping, and then eventually we're going to do a full lap of the track by doing manuals, double manuals and jumping, to put together you know, a perfect lap hopefully. So the first thing we need to do when learning to jump is just think about how you're going to get over the jump, and you've got to be confident in your mind and 100% committed when jumping. A lot of people who are learning to jump, they tend to, you know, take off the takeoff, and then they seize up in the air, go stiff, kind of freeze in the air, and then that's when it can go wrong. That happens to everybody from time to time, but the more comfortable you get with jumping, you know, the more relaxed you're on the bike, and jumping is quite an easy thing to do once you're confident with it. So to jump a simple double, say on this pump track, you basically going up the takeoff of the jump, you're letting the bike go up the takeoff, and with the speed your bike is automatically going to want to take off. But to enable it to do that and help it, you let the front wheel come up in the air. You don't compress your arms and legs on the takeoff like you would do if you were going to pump jump or manual. You let the bike come up off the ground. You push through on the handlebars so that you're aiming for where you want to land, and then as your back wheel takes off, your front wheel's in the air. Then the next thing to do is level the bike out in the air, and you do that by rotating your shoulders and your body weight forward with your back foot, whether you're left foot forward or right foot forward. I'm left foot forward, so with my back left foot, you kind of have your toes pointing down on the back foot, and you scoop the back of the bike up with your pedal. This then levels the bike out in the air, and then once you've spotted your landing, especially on a pump track or dirt jumps, BMX track, you want to try and land with both wheels down with the same shape as the backside of the jump you're trying to land on. So basically you're trying to do this technique nice and smoothly. Obviously once you've learned to jump properly, you can add in all your style and whips and stuff. I've never learned that stuff, so I just stick to the basic jumping. So let's give it a go and see if you can figure out how to do it. Okay, so that was 2 very basic jumping techniques. First run through, I jumped the first part of the step up, step down. So when you're jumping at any step ups, you need to pull the front wheel up a little bit higher than you would if you were jumping over a double, which got me down to the back side of the first part of the obstacle, and then pumped over the roller. Then the next time I pumped the first part of the step up and used the step up landing as a takeoff to jump over onto the roller. So there's two basic techniques you can use on a pump track. What I'll try and do now is try and do a full lap of doing some pumping. I'm going to pump the first jump. I'm going to try and triple manual the first this obstacle, and then a series of jumps to get around the track. So hopefully all the three techniques that we've covered will all end up in one lap. Okay, so that was a full lap of using the three different techniques we've gone through. It's really tiring to do a full lap, and you know, the more pumping, jumping and manualing they do, you do use quite a lot of effort. So you know, it's really fun to do and learn, and it's not too adventurous on the bike. You know, jumps aren't massive, but it's still really fun and it's good exercise to do. And as I say, all those techniques, if you learn them correctly, they'll come into riding, you know what, when you go to a bike park or trail centre or natural trails, you know, that kind of riding, the smoother you become at that stuff, the better it is for when you're riding on the trails also. So hope you enjoyed that. I'd say that's pretty basic stuff. You know, there's plenty of guys you can look on at the internet and see you know, the real advanced stuff, but it's still fun. You know, I still enjoy riding this kind of stuff, and obviously kids love it as well. Earlier, you know, you learn that stuff, the better. It's like kind of riding a bike. Once you've learned how to do that, you don't really forget, and it always comes into play when you're out riding. So anyway, any comments or questions you've got, drop us a line, and we'll try and help out. But have fun and stay safe out there.